Yeah, awesome.
No, sweet.
So, look, what I like to do is start by asking people, um, what do you think the landscape for tourism leadership is in New Zealand?
Um, I, I think, I mean, there's probably a variety of experiences that probably go to filling my answer. I've been involved in, national level, lobbying at
Yep.
New Zealand Tourism Industry Association.
Yep.
I've been involved in, Wellington Regional Tourism Organisation as well as Rotorua, and more lately in the last 5 years running this.
Yeah.
I think tourism leadership from a straight out commercial point of view is about running sort of innovative and clever businesses that keep ensuring that New Zealand presents itself.
Yep.
And our businesses present ourselves innovatively and cleverly at a world-class level to the rest of the world.
Yep.
That in a nutshell is kind of what I think commercially it's about, as
Yep.
well as making acceptable returns to the investors and
Yep.
to the shareholders and owners and the like. I think increasingly though, I think there's some things that are going to play out that I think are really important to us as an industry and as individuals. And I think I do always trip to that sort of triple bottom line reporting
Yep.
stuff around the environmental stuff. That you obviously got the commercial returns, you've got the environmental returns,
Yep.
which are actually a fundamental part of what we do here. 'Cause we've got strong environmental things that we have to conform with, particularly around things like kiwi recovery and also the geothermal.
And surely
environment.
the economic are intrinsically bound to those as well.
Oh, totally.
No Kiwis means...
And so we're kind of
Yeah.
intrinsically linked there.
Yeah.
And yet a lot of people probably don't see us as a business right now in the environmental business yet. Inherently, by virtue of what we have here, that field's protected, and they closed every bore in the city to protect it.
I read that.
So it's like so we're there. Socially, obviously, we've got to play a role within our communities, and we obviously play a role employing people, and but I kind of very aware that the people we employ, feed over 900 mouths directly, so that's the whānau of all the people and everyone else that works off this. But probably for us is and probably quite critical because of our Act of Parliament is the cultural lens that we're seeing through. So tourism leadership for us is a lot about being seen in the Māori world as leaders and innovators and being a sustainable business there. So we have another dimension in there that a lot of businesses don't have, which is presenting ourselves, as clever, innovative, but also culturally linked. So we're connected, to iwi leaders forums and connected to National Māori Kaupapa and connected to a range of other things. So I probably go slightly more broad, in my definition of what leadership is about. Whether we've got the right, probably do we have the depth of that leadership? I've seen over the years that I've been involved in tourism, I've seen waves of leadership. I don't think right now, in terms of innovative leadership, there's not a lot of new experiences and things for people to do that I would say are genuinely innovative that I've seen come through in the last 10 years compared to the years that I saw in, say, the late 80s through the 90s, where a lot of those experiences like, bungee, jet boating, all those innovators, the Jim Bolts of the world, the Ngāi Tahus, I guess, of the world, the ones that were developing the bungees, the AJs and Henrys and those sorts of people, they to me were kind of the most innovative leaders, entrepreneurial, innovative leaders. When we had a flurry of them all at one time. There was almost a kind of a,
perfect storm.
Kind of all came together, and the regulatory environment was such that it enabled it. As opposed to these days, you'd be, especially in adventure tourism, you'd probably be looking sideways, probably leaning on the side it's just too hard, to achieve some of that. So
from a health and safety perspective,
and so I think from and is that wrong? No, it's not wrong. But it's knocked off some of what I would call the innovative edge on it. And I've seen that inside companies, big companies where in tourism we're just trying to, rather than innovate with new product and lead the way. Thank you. That's great.
Thank you so much.
Sugar?
I'm all good, thank you.
good?
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
We should leave some in here, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
We should probably leave some in there, do it. Thank you. So we,
Thank you.
I've seen, from my mind, when you kind of look at it, say, and I don't mean this as a criticism, it's just something I say. It's almost easier to go out and buy another tourism business than innovate and start a new one.
Yeah, right.
And so there's not that going on. I don't see a lot of that happening.
Yeah.
Now there is some cool business development going on, like Canopy Tours here, James in Rotorua. He's set up a really cool, innovative business. Very clever. He's won tourism awards.
Right.
He's only 4 or 5 years old.
Right.
As
what
a
does
business.
he do? What does he do? That's
it's like environmental ziplining and stuff like that, inside a forest that they use proceeds from their business to help restore the natural vegetation. And
right.
I mean, to me, that is kind of he's got it might not be a totally new product experience or a new category, but he's done something different.
Yeah.
And so I'd say probably people would perceive James to be a true innovator.
Yeah, right.
And doing something new, and the market's shown that they've responded well to it. It's well thought out. It's well delivered.
Wow.
He's done extremely well for himself and his business in the last few years.
Right.
I mean, likewise here, we're introducing new mediums that our work has done in, like bronze. Again, not a traditional Māori thing, but innovative, and it's a way we can use. This, we still use carvings to reflect, to do the negatives and everything that we bronze cast off. I just don't think we're seeing the innovative leadership. I just don't think we're thinking about setting up new businesses generally. I think we're thinking about just, if I'm a big tourism corporate, I'll just go and buy something else that already exists. And it seems like we're buying everyone else's cash flow and there's no new innovation coming in. That's what it feels like to me right now. I just don't see that. I don't see it. In the accommodation sector, I think we're just in a kind of a, what are we? There's innovation within individual properties, but they're still lodges or homestays or hotels. We're not getting anything. I don't think we're getting a lot of new thinking around that stuff to resolve issues that are really fundamental to New Zealand tourism, like lack of hotel beds. Right? All of us know a hotel is not a good investment. You might work in certain environments like an airport or whatever, it might stack up, but in Rotorua it doesn't. And I'll tell you now, the cost of building in the ground here is about 35% of the total build. So, and that would be probably the same, if not more, for a hotel. You're not going to build a hotel in Rotorua that's multi-storied. It's just not going to happen. Because the business models of a market failure anyway, let alone the fact that you're going to sink a whole lot of money underground to hold the building up under those building regulations. So so I'm not seeing a lot of new and innovative thinking around how we offset that stuff. And so at the end of the day, I guess that comes down to industry leadership, and we're not getting those new ways of dealing with it coming through. That I think if that same issue had been there back in the 90s, I think we would have got more innovative solutions to it, more quickly. And the problem for us all now is that kind of, this kind of industry, as leadership goes in this industry, we tend to lurch from, like fast market growth, and then all of a sudden we have this chaos of kind of, we've had fast market growth, now we're going to, and we're always behind. It's never totally in sync, so it's like we have to grow the product, and then and the air capacity comes on, and then we grow, and then we stop, and then we kind of
fits and starts.
I wonder if that's kind of a bit of a New Zealand business psyche.
You're not the first person to say that. Somebody the other day said, growth goes like this, and New Zealanders tend to invest there. Once it's hit the top, well,
and that's
where's the foresight?
There's no it's that, I suppose it's that longer term, view of it. And so too many people that have probably been in the industry are looking at the short term gain. And but to get that longer term gain, sometimes you've got to take the shorter term pain, and why. And there's probably a lot of psyche out there that's saying, why do you need to? Just go and buy another company that's already got a cash flow and sit on it. Just keep growing it. Do it that way.
Right.
So market your way to success as opposed to grow an existing business to success rather than create a new business. I'm probably slightly different. We've got quite a clear. I mean, where we're at internally, we've got we've had a clear strategy for 5 years to grow the business, to preserve cash, to build facilities that enable us to lift our presentation to the market, that lifts our value proposition, that in turn lifts our price, and all those things. Our reality is that once we do that work on our site, there's no other place for us to go. So we've just bought 40% of another tourism business.
Right.
Just done exactly what everyone else has said. But the reason we bought that business, a primary reason, is it gives us access into development opportunities at Mount Tarawera.
Right.
And that's where we're going. So, and that's not developed.
So
I'm not necessarily, I'm just looking at an existing business as a means to an ends. It's just one step along the pathway to achieve what we want. So it's like key money, buying our 40% of the business is key money in the door, and that's kind of how I look at it. So I'm trying to take more of an innovative approach to it. We've got a piece of land on our southern end that's environmentally been poorly looked after by a variety of landowners and council over the years. All the pictures up behind you here all show the kind of concepts we're developing for an ecotourism type business there, with mountain biking and stuff going on within it. So we're trying to add elements of new to what's a very mature business model already. That actually won't even be under the name Tapuia. It'll be under another. We'll have another brand. Another company that'll run it. But we're not even trying. So I think a lot of our leadership is quite short term. Is quite short term profit centric. I don't think it's got a long term. I don't think there's a lot of long term thinking. Certainly in this organisation, there's never been a lot of long term thinking around how am I improving over time the value of the shareholder capital. I don't think that's getting seen very often. I think we just kind of here today, make as much money as you can, and then bank it and move on to the next year. I think that's so. I think there's some failed leadership within the sector. Having said what I've said, I've noticed some people that, and I'm not going to pee in Adrian's pocket, but Adrian probably has come into the industry from outside it. A lot of people that come from outside struggle to understand it. He'd be one of the ones who's coming from outside of it, and I think got his mind around it really quickly. In my view, he's incredibly well respected right across the industry for what he's done. And also been quite an enabler in terms of he's gone after and achieved results in areas that actually mean a lot to us on the ground. So if I had to pick a leader in the industry nationally, who I think's made a fundamental difference to all of the sector, it would be Adrian.
Wow, great.
That's how I look at it. I look at his traits, personality traits, his engagement traits, his relationship management traits, and say, you don't need to be on the phone to Adrian all the time at all. He's just. You just sense that Adrian's got a kind of an understanding. Yes, there's shareholder value that he's generating, and yes, there's commercial returns that he's got to generate. But he's also doing a hell of a lot else for the country. There's probably no one that's done as much as he has in the last 3 or 4 years. In my view. In terms of lifting New Zealand tourism to a whole new level, and he probably doesn't even know he's done it because he's quite a humble sort of guy. And I feel, he gets more flights in. 2 days later, we've got those people coming through our gates.
Totally. Do you see that correlation?
We see it every day. You get new flights in, and those customers, put new flights on from Philippines, and you get Filipinos. It's pretty simple. And so he's got that aspect to it, and he's. And I think through there, Auckland Airport has come from a position of probably 10 years ago, very limited engagement with the tourism sector, to now what I call as insightful leadership of the industry. He's got hardwired into the, to the sector, and he's just doing things, or they're doing things that are really powerful. And I'll probably think that Malcolm down at Christchurch Airport's perhaps doing the same. In a smaller.
And a South Island context, I think, is how I've had it explained to me.
And that's natural. That's your game, He's got an international airport. He's gonna push it like Adrian's pushing it. But I think Adrian was probably and maybe the size of Auckland Airport has enabled that earlier. So I would say Adrian's got a lot of those traits. I think people that I've looked to in the last few years, for leadership, people like Grant Webster has been really informed. I think he's lifted his he's gone from a 2IC within a company now to an informed leader position. Respected. His commentary's respected.
Yep.
And I think someone like a Chris Roberts in the industry